Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a follow-up to a video I did a few weeks ago, almost a month ago maybe, and that was my trying out new makeup video. It wasn't a full face of first impressions, but I definitely tried out quite a few things in that video, and today I'm coming back to you with full reviews on all of the products that I tried out. I'm just going to reach into my little pile here semi at random, but I am going to start today's review off with the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation. This has SPF 20 and I have mine in the shade Soft Ivory / Classic Ivory, which is N12. It is of course the foundation I'm wearing today. Now I do have quite oily skin in the warmer months, so this foundation isn't really working out great for me now, but I do foresee myself really enjoying this in the more cool months, as long as the shade will continue to work out well for me. It's a little bit light right now for me, but maybe this will work out great in the fall. This has, I would say, medium coverage. It's not overly buildable. It has a very luminous finish, so I look very dewy, on the border of super greasy looking by the end of the day, but it holds up. The foundation itself is not breaking apart on my skin, which is what I hate the most, so I can easily blot off the oil and apply more powder and get a full day's wear out of this foundation. So this isn't going to be a new favorite by any means, but it's not something that I feel like I should declutter because I don't like it. I think I will enjoy it more in the cooler months, like I said, and we'll test it out further then. This is something I would recommend to you if you had more normal or dry skin over oily skin, but it doesn't break apart. And if you do have oily skin and like the really dewy look, then you can definitely give this foundation a try. Next up, I have the NYX HD Concealer. I have mine in the shade Fair. This has pretty light, maybe light medium coverage for concealer, which is not my favorite type of coverage. I'm more of a medium buildable kind of girl in both my foundations and my concealers. This is quite lightweight, not a lot of coverage to it, but it is incredibly brightening. But that could just be the shade that I got, that it's so much lighter than my skin tone. You can still see a lot of my dark circles underneath. Actually today I used an under eye corrector to combat that, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done, so that you could really see how this concealer looks. And I feel like there's not a lot of product in here. Maybe I haven't done a comparison with the grams, but maybe I'll put on the screen over here. The NYX HD Concealer has 0.11 ounces or 3 grams, and I'll put a few of the other concealers that I have on here. Of course, it is drugstore, it is more affordable, but if there's still not very much product in here, it doesn't really make it cheaper per gram. I don't know if that makes sense. With eyeshadow palettes and stuff, I really don't care about that breakdown, but with concealer, something you use every day and you go through quite often, I feel like that definitely matters. This does crease under my eyes as well, but I find most concealers do. It doesn't look worse than other concealers I've tried, but it's definitely not the best. I will use it up, but I probably won't repurchase it. Okay, something that is terrible. This is the e.l.f. Volumizing and Defining, or maybe vice versa, mascara. It doesn't have any information on it except for it says e.l.f. and that it's 11 mils of product. In the video where I tested this out, I was kind of surprised by it. It gives you very everyday kind of lashes. They're not super natural, but they're definitely not something you'd want to put on with a smoky eye or anything like that. And I really liked the way it made my lashes look. Again, it wasn't anything spectacular, but I did like it. The wand is a plastic wand and is a little bit fatter down at the bottom there. Pretty basic. This makes your lashes so sticky. Like when I blink, my lashes were gluing together, and when I opened my eyes they were like folded like down in front of my eyeball. That's how sticky this made my lashes, and it continued to be that sticky for 5 to 10 minutes. If it was like that for like 30 seconds, I could probably get over it if I really loved the way it made my lashes look, but 5 to 10 minutes of your eyelashes sticking together and poking in your eyeball, it was just a mess. And I've used this a few times. I've tried using this to layer, like put this one on first and then cover it up with another mascara, and it made my lashes look great, but it didn't combat the stickiness. So this is not something I'm going to continue to use at all. This was very disappointing. I've noticed that e.l.f.'s mascaras are now completely repackaged, so I don't know, maybe they have reformulated as well. But this one in the white tube was terrible. Next up, I have the BH Cosmetics Nude Blush 10 Color Blush Palette. This is what it looks like. The variation, well, in my monitor blows things out quite a bit. They don't look like they have a lot of variation, which is how I saw it on the website. But once I got it, these are much more bright than I was expecting. This one would be gorgeous on a deeper skin tone. These are quite bright pinky colors. We have some deeper natural shades here, a gold highlight, and then these three are very, very neutral. This one would be an amazing natural blush on someone with super fair skin tone. For me, I use this to help blend out my cheek products if needed. I haven't dipped into these too much just because they are so natural looking. I tend to use these as mixers for some of these brighter shades over here. But I have been absolutely loving this. Next time I make an order from BH, I might get one of their other blush palettes that has a little bit more variety. Like this is the Nude blush palette, so of course you're expected to get 10 different nudie kind of shades, but now I kind of wish I got one with more variety. These are super pigmented, easy to blend. They're almost a little too pigmented for me. I love blush, but I love a little bit of blush, and even when I tap in gently and tap off the excess, it's very apparent that I have blush on, but it blends out so well that, you know, it doesn't really matter. I would definitely recommend this, and it is super affordable. This is the Ciate London Bamboo Bronzer in the shade Palm Island. This is great. It's a very small baby size, but I love the shade on this. It's such a great, like, it's a warm bronzer, but it's not an orangey bronzer, which I like. I guess it leans a little bit more neutral. It's a great shade for me personally, and I also really like using this in the crease as well, which is what I did today to help blend out a product I'll talk about in a little bit. This blends out super well, and it doesn't have any shimmer in it that I can see, but on the face it kind of gives, not a sheen, I feel like that doesn't sound great, but it just makes your cheeks and temples or wherever you place this look really healthy. Like it gives off a little bit of a glow. It's very strange, but I really love this, so much so that I foresee myself probably using this up and buying the full size. We'll see. I have a lot of bronzers. This is the MAC Lingering Eyebrows eyebrow pencil. I don't love this. So if you watched the trying out new makeup video, you saw that as I was filling in my eyebrows, this is so dry it literally broke off, and I didn't have it like twisted up a lot or anything. Like, it's so dry that it's dug into my skin and snapped it off. This is not creamy whatsoever, and it's also a little warm for me. I'm not really sure if you can tell too much, but it is a bit warm. It's not my favorite, and I feel like I need to go over the same spot over and over again, and if you're not careful doing that, you can pull out your brow hairs. I think I'm going to keep it on hand just as an extra, because I'm not someone that has like 500 brow products like a lot of beauty gurus. Ugh. I'm definitely not a beauty guru, but you know what I mean. You watch the makeup collection videos and they have so many brow products, but I don't, so I feel like I should keep this on hand for when I run out of one of my other ones that I like. Like, I can use it, it's usable, but I would never repurchase this. I also don't like that there's no spoolie on the end, although, I mean, I have spoolies elsewhere, so again, it's not really a deal breaker, but I wouldn't recommend that you go and buy this. Just a quick one, I guess. This was the OFRA liquid lip in the shade Verona. I got this in a BoxyCharm. It's of course what's on my lips today. I just tested out this color in that video. I already know that OFRA liquid lipsticks are one of my favorite liquid lipstick formulas ever. I find them so comfortable yet still long wearing. I like this color. It's like a brownie nude kind of shade. Great for every day. I probably will get more use out of this as we're coming up on fall. I wear more like pinky nudie colors on an everyday basis in the summertime, but I really did like this one too. This is the Laura Mercier Copper Caviar Stick Eye Color. I love this. I can't believe that this sat in my drawer for over a year without getting any love. It's so creamy, so metallic and beautiful, and as someone with oily eyelids, I thought this would for sure slide all over the place, like wipe off, get all creased. It doesn't. If you apply, like, I apply a generous amount, like make sure it's nice and metallic as you can see on my eyes today, but I don't cake it on, and I feel like that is where some people kind of go wrong with these. Like, they're literally drawing on their eye like they're coloring in a picture. And you can't really do that. Like, I just gently glide it over my eye, take a fluffy brush with, today I used the Ciate bronzer and blended out all of the edges. And I did this quite a while ago and it still looks perfect. There's no creasing or anything. It takes me through my day. This is something that I would get more shades of. I used to use like stick eyeliner, cream, whatever these are called, shadow sticks. There we go. Almost every day in high school and like my early years of university, I used the CoverGirl ones that were dual ended. They were supposed to be like smoky eye. I had one that was like purple and taupey on one side, one that was like a deep bronze and a lighter gold color. They were great. They're so simple, easy to use, and last all day. I will probably end up with more shades of this. To end off this video, I'm going to do a pretty big brush review on the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz 9 brush set. 9-piece brush. I didn't wash them before the video, which I probably should have, but I used them on my face today just to keep my reviews fresh in my mind. First off, I love the handles of these. They are kind of swirly, almost like marble, with a corally color and a white. Super beautiful. I'm going to try and organize these by number and talk about them that way, and I'll talk about the uses that BH kind of said that they were intended for, and then the way that I like to use them. So starting off, this is the number 1. This is the large angle contour brush. I love the shape of this brush. This is what I prefer. This shape is what I prefer to use to apply my bronzer. You can use it like sideways to really carve out your cheekbones and then flip it like vertical and buff things out. But I have a small head and this is way too big for my cheek to use as a contour. Like, I'm not sure if you can tell, but like my jaw is right here, and when you're blending it ends up bringing it down way too far for me. So although I like the shape, I like the density. For me, this doesn't really work out great. It does work out great on my forehead because my forehead is very big, but for my cheeks it just doesn't really work. So what I have been using this for is, instead of my Real Technique stippling brushes, which is what I liked to use in the past, is I would take this, and sometimes I would take out of this blush palette one of these lighter shades to help blend out my cheek products if I feel like things aren't blending the way I want to, because it covers such a large area on my face. If I'm very gentle, I can use this to blend out all of my cheek products. It's getting hot in here. Okay, the number 2 brush looks like this. This is the powder slash blush brush, and I do use this for powder. It's not my favorite shape. I find it a little awkward to apply powder to my whole face, but I kind of ran into the same problem, that this is way too big for my face to apply blush. Like, it covers literally my whole cheek right up into my under eye, and then that's just placing the product. Then if I go to blend it, of course it diffuses it further. So for me, I've been using this as powder on my whole face. I wish it was slightly less domed for me to use it for that purpose, but I mean, it gets the job done. It's definitely not a favorite though. Number 3 is the tapered highlighter brush. I don't like this for highlight. It's like too long almost on the top, so it doesn't, when you apply pressure onto your face with highlighter on this, it bends it down really weird, and it doesn't blend out the highlight the way I like it to. I do like applying my highlight with brushes shaped similar to this, but they're just not as long or as wide. I do like using this to set my under eyes though. I feel like it's a good shape for that, and because it is a little bit more dense, it picks up powder really well, and the tapered tip to it means you can get right up underneath your lower lashes, and that is what I like to use this brush for. This is the number 4 deluxe blending brush. So I don't know if they wanted you to use this on your eye, but like, it's huge. I guess you can set your eyeshadow primer with it, but I haven't done that because it is so dense. This is a similar shape to the Sephora Pro Small Contour Brush, which I also own, but it's a little bit shorter bristles on here, so I tried that, and it places the contour really well, like right in the hollows of my cheeks, and it's a good size for my face shape, but it doesn't blend it out all that well. It leaves you with a very harsh line on either side. So then I would take something like this, the number 1 contour brush that was in this kit, and go over it with this to blend out the edges, and that did work really well. I would rather use the one brush that I have that is similar to this shape but smaller, that fits my face shape the best, and just use one brush though, if that makes sense. I did try blending out my concealer with this. I thought that would be a good use for it, but that didn't really work that well either. The number 5 is a dense crease brush. This brush is great, especially if you're working with creams like what I did today with the eyeshadow stick, or if you're working with something like the Maybelline Color Tattoos to blend out the edges. I like to apply, you know, a mid-tone brown shade, which is my kind of crease color, like this. It picks up quite a bit of product, and you can really control where you're placing it, even though the brush is on the bigger side, if you can see that. It just blends things out so well. This isn't a large blending brush where you get that really diffused transition shade look, but if you really need some intense blending, I really do like this brush. This is the number 6 tapered blending brush. So this is the one that I would go in with if you wanted that more diffused crease shade or transition shade, because it has a lot more movement to it and the bristles are a little bit longer. So there's the comparison between the two. This shorter fat one is the dense crease brush. This one is the tapered blending brush. I wish that this was a little bit like bigger around, like there was more bristles. I like the density, I like the length on it, and it still works great. But I mean, if it were to be my perfect tapered blending brush, I would like it to be like a little bigger. But I really do like this brush as well. The number 7 Precision Crease Brush. This is my favorite brush to buff out the lower lash line. Favorite brush like ever, I think. I might take that back someday, but I love this to blow out my lower lash line, or if I'm playing with color or something, going in with a more transition type of shade underneath those to really blend things out. This does it so well. It's so small and detailed that it fits right up under the lash line. It does blow it out, you know, quite a little bit. So if you don't like your shadow to come down too far, you may not like this, but I really like that look on my eye shape, and this brush is fabulous. The number 8 is the Flat Shader Brush. This works fine. It's very wide. That is the side of it, and then that is the flat side of it. It's very wide, like thick, and I kind of wish the bristles were a little bit longer on this. However, this works great if you're doing like a half cut crease or something like that, because it's so dense and the edges are so clean and the bristles are not all that long, so you can really place things where you want them. So it's not my dream flat shader brush, but it gets the job done and it does it well. Lastly, this is the 9 Detailing Brush. This is the most perfect shaped brush for placing your inner corner highlight. Before, I would use my like pinky or something, and that works fine, but it's not as precise. This has a very precise tip on it. I'm not sure if you can really tell. It's very thin and small, and you can get right in there so well. This would also work as a detailed lip brush if you wanted to, but I feel like once you kind of make a brush a lip brush, even for a few uses, it kind of ruins it, in my opinion, at least in my experience. So I didn't want to ruin this. If they have like a single one like this, I would definitely pick it up. Overall, this wasn't the best brush set for my preferences, I guess. I really loved the eye brushes more than anything, so that is what, 5 out of the 9, which is good, but not all of them are like my new favorites. The face brushes just aren't really for me, I guess. I like them and I have uses for all of them, and they'll continue to get used, but in terms of their intended use, it doesn't really work out for me. And with these two especially, I think it's mostly because of the size of my face. Like, they're just a little bit too big for me. I didn't love this as a highlighter brush, but I can use it as under eye setting, as an under eye setting brush. And then this one isn't really my favorite, but I feel like it might be good to have on hand for just in case, like once in a blue moon. I feel like I've been talking a million miles a minute, and for like 3 hours. It hasn't been that long, but I definitely need a drink of water. I hope you guys enjoyed my full reviews on all of these products. I know it was a lot. Let me know if you'd like me to do another like first impressions type of video, and then another follow-up later on. I did get this idea from Samantha March. She always comes back with follow-ups for her first impressions and hauls, and I think that those are really valuable. I don't want my channel to all be first impressions because that drives me bonkers. I prefer full reviews and like really well thought out thoughts and reviews. Like, I use these products many times over the last few weeks, and I feel like I have a good sense of what I do and what I don't like on each item. So let me know if you want to see more of these. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!